Hey guys, what's going on? Hermdo back with you. We're talking wings today, baby. We're talking wings, but not just any normal wings video. Not your typical stuff here. I'm going to do a reaction video to this content here. This is from SDPN. This is part of Steve Dangle's network here. Steve Dangle, if you don't know, is a massive hockey YouTuber, probably one of the biggest hockey YouTubers out there. He's a massive Toronto Maple Leafs fan, but him and his guys here, they do kind of a breakdown of the Detroit Red Wings and Steve Yzerman's overall approach and his tenure as GM. And they say some not so nice things about him, but they're brutally honest. They have a few takes that I really don't agree with, but I watch bits and pieces of it. But let's do as much of a full watch as we can. It's about a 20-minute long video. I don't want to go too long, but let's see if we can address some of these points and see what Steve has to say about the Red Wings.
Vladimir Tarasenko hasn't scored more than 20 goals since 21-22. I know
if I cough or anything, or if I'm like, it sounds like I have a cold, because I'm starting to have a cold, like my nose is messed up, my throat's messed up. I got this cough, so if I'm making any weird noises, please just do your best to ignore them. Sorry.
Deal was signed with Detroit. But how is that man making $4.75 million?
Because 4.7 is jack shit now.
It wasn't last year, though.
That's fair.
And
But who signed him to that deal?
Stevie Y.
There you go.
I don't even know how.
That was a bad signing. People thought that maybe Tarasenko could regain some form and be like, have like kind of a similar resurgence, kind of like, Patrick Kane or something, because Tarasenko had some injuries. He's been plagued with injuries the last few years in St. Louis. He was, instrumental part of that team in 2019 that won the Stanley Cup, but, it's been a while, since he's really put up those kind of numbers. Those days are obviously behind him. He's on the decline now. I'm kind of surprised how bad he was in Detroit. He only had 33 points last season, and he very clearly didn't want to be here. He was a bad fit. They didn't really have anywhere to put him. The line combinations were bad. He never really got a chance to show out. There was a period there where I don't think he scored a single goal for like weeks or even months. He just looked totally disinterested out there. He did not want to be a Red Wing. That is a bad signing. Yzerman's free agency moves. I mean, DeBrincat looks like he's the real deal, but I mean, thinking about some of these guys, some of the guys he has to fill in around like the bottom lines and stuff like that, and just like the JT, the comp for the Ben Sherratt, the Justin Holl, those kind of deals are very bad. Steve Yzerman has not. I mean, the Patrick Kane thing, that was low risk, high reward, and obviously, Patrick Kane has been a very good part of the Red Wings right now. Why he wants to be here, I don't know. I guess he just likes playing with DeBrincat, but yeah. I think they say some stuff about Yzerman's drafting, and Yzerman's drafting has been excellent. One of the things that's probably saving him right now. But we'll get into it. Let's watch a little bit more. I'll try not to pause too much. Let these guys speak for themselves.
I don't even know how he ended up in Minnesota. Like,
Yeah.
There was some sort of deadline move or something like
So wait, you thought it was an expensive deal? Do you think it was a good GM who signed it?
No.
Well, there you go.
and it's a bummer because I got to interview Steve Yzerman with Alan, and I really liked him. But I don't know what's going on in Detroit. I don't get it.
Do you know what he was traded for?
No. Like a fourth?
Future considerations, which is basically just a bag of pucks.
Tarasenko to the Wild. Do you know what
I'm
he was
going
traded for?
to say a fifth.
It happened on June 30th, 2025.
Oh.
Honestly, I've been watching hockey my whole life. I still don't know what future considerations even means.
Might have been future considerations.
It was nothing. He was traded for future considerations.
Why did
The Red Wings just didn't want the cap hit anymore.
Yo, why did Guaven help
And
him out like
Blair.
that?
It's like the Jacob Verana deal. They brought him in. It was part of that Anthony Mantha trade, and everyone was just like, "Oh, Yzerman fleeced him. Yzerman fleeced him. He fleeced the Capitals." But Jacob Verana had all manner of serious, like, personal problems and all this stuff. I don't want to speculate too much on that kind of stuff, but we traded him essentially for a bag of pucks. That was another bad deal. If you remember the Jacob Verana thing, we thought he was going to be a guy who could come here, score 30, 40 goals for us. He was, lights out in Washington, but the guy just couldn't do it, just couldn't keep it together. I'm not blaming him. I'm not mad at him. I'm not trying to say anything like negative about the guy, but it just didn't work out. Another big black eye for Yzerman. Ugh.
You should have had to pay for.
Oh, and then the Delkovich thing. He got rid of that one goaltender. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but we got him basically for nothing. Like Carolina pretty much gave him to us, and he drastically underperformed here. I think you remember him and Ville Husso, just like, oh my Lord. But yeah, that was another real disaster for Yzerman. I think I brought that up before, but let's continue.
Yeah. The
33 points last year.
The Wild just wanted the guy, and Detroit didn't want him, and they wanted the cap space, so he was traded for future consideration.
Okay, question. Do you think Tarasenko and Kaprizov might be friends, fellow countrymen?
I think that is.
I think Kaprizov is still holding out. They offered him like 16 mil. I don't know what the term was, the entire term, but it was some obscene amount of money. Like they're paying him more than Austin Matthews, and he just said no. He's probably going to go back to Russia, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. That's kind of one to keep an eye on.
Entirely possible. But you know what? You're all making fun of Yzerman for just getting the cap space.
Yeah, what?
Well, right now they have $12 million
So he didn't use
of
it.
unspent cap space.
They're going to have a lot more after next season.
Jeez. Do we think Steve Yzerman's a bad general
The
manager?
cap keeps going up.
Yes.
Why are the Detroit
Wholeheartedly,
Red Wings
yes.
acting like the Buffalo Sabres?
I don't
I
understand
don't understand it. What's going on?
what the flying fuck they're doing. I don't get it. They have some really good pieces.
No.
They're too good to be completely ass. They are.
Yo, but okay. Think of the top of the division. I feel like Boston.
I wouldn't say they're completely ass. I mean, they're nowhere near the level of like a San Jose or like an Anaheim, or like a Buffalo. They're a bubble team, but they've been a bubble team for almost a decade now. So maybe Steve's being a little harsh here, but let him speak. Let's Steve elaborate on this.
In the Atlantic is going to be better. There's no way they're as
There's
bad as
proof
last
of
year.
concept with this.
Swayman missed all training camp. That was so dumb. Like literally, the management team goofed their season, and Jim Montgomery lost a job for dumbass management decisions. Okay, we know that. Then McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm go down. No team survives that.
No, you're broke.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Lindholm deal sucks, and it will always suck, and I don't understand why they signed it. Vancouver was trying to get rid of him so fast after a month of having him. And it's not that he's a bad guy, but he's not the scorer that he was in Calgary. So my question is, okay, so Boston's good. The Leafs are good. The Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup winners.
Back to back.
Tampa Bay is a good team. They might have got their asses kicked by the Florida Panthers, but who amongst us, right?
Whooms.
And then you've got the Ottawa Senators, who are becoming an excellent team.
They got good bobblehead.
And as soon as Montreal gets that second line center,
famous Red Wings issue. We've been talking about getting a second line center for pretty much Dylan Larkin's entire career. That's been a big thing, along with we got to get bigger on the blue line. We were saying that back when the Wings were winning cups. But just one of those things. You got to get a second line center. We got Marco Kasper, who I think is going to be a very good player. So we did kind of fill that role. So we'll see how that works out. But, as far as like top line talent, it's just not there. But let's get into this a little bit more.
perhaps Lane Hutson's dad can help them with that.
Sidney Crosby.
Once Montreal gets that second line center,
Here, I'm going to throw
guys, there's no room for Detroit. There's nothing. And Buffalo, sorry.
let me throw an oh yeah at you. John?
I'd wager that some of Buffalo's talent is even better than the Wings, but Buffalo's an even bigger mess than Detroit, but all these other teams are passing us by. Teams whose rebuild started either around the same time or after the Red Wings rebuild have surpassed us, and it's really pathetic.
Good pickup.
Detroit Red.
I like him. Yeah. I think he's good.
Though, so is this just a year of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks for Detroit? And then they completely blow the doors off next year, and they're a huge player in free agency because they already have $12 million in cap space.
Why do they?
Give me a sec.
Everybody's got cap room next year.
No, yeah, but you already have 12 plus Ben Sherratt's coming off the books. Justin Hall is coming off the books. Eric Gustafson is coming off the books.
All these contracts are coming off the books, and the cap is going up. The cap is going up very high. I think by another like $10 million. Wings could have up to like $40 million to play around with. What Yzerman does with that money, I don't know. That makes me nervous. Like, remember when Joe Dumars had all that free agency money? He had all that cap space, and he was bringing in guys like Ben Gordon and Charlie Villanueva, and you're just like, what the hell are you doing? But I'm getting some Dumars vibes. I hate to say it, because Dumars fell off. It took him a while, but he fell off, and he fell off hard. And Yzerman, you know, it's a similar kind of story. A guy who was a generational player for Detroit comes back as an executive. Joe Dumars got a ring as a GM. Yzerman hasn't been anywhere close, so it's not totally one for one. But are any of you guys, I just have to put this out there, the hockey viewing audience, are any of you guys getting Dumars vibes from Yzerman? Maybe just a little bit. Am I overreacting here? Because I was a big Yzerman slap for a long time, and I still, like, he's still a childhood hero of mine. I can't hate the guy completely. But if he fucks this Red Wings development up, this Red Wings rebuild up, it kind of looks like he's going to have, that's going to be a black mark on his legacy and a big embarrassment for the Detroit Red Wings organization. I'm trying to think of another example of like a team, like player coming back as like an executive and fucking up, like their own team. I know like Ron Hextall, famous goaltender for the Philadelphia Flyers, was the GM of the Penguins for a few years. He totally fucked that up. Him and Randy Carlyle, who was the GM. Oh, was he the coach? I don't remember. Oh, I think he was the GM of the Ducks. Or was that Brian Burke? Oh, fuck, I don't remember. But basically, yeah, there's other guys, other player executives, you know, that just fuck everything up. But this Yzerman thing, that's a big deal, man. Yzerman was the heart and soul of the Red Wings for 2 decades. This is, you know, this could, if he doesn't, I don't know, but it's almost like, how much leash do you want to give this guy? How many kicks of the can are you going to give this guy? But they brought that up. Let's just let these guys talk for a little longer, then I'll speculate.
That's like $10 million right there. And that's all on D. Signing Travis Hamonic to a 1-year deal reeks of, I don't really have any particular idea what I'm doing right now.
It's depth for Grand Rapids. It's Grand Rapids defensive depth. That's all that is. Why it took $1 million, I don't know.
I gotta think they're positioning themselves sort of like the Wild did, where it's like, all right, we're going to do these huge buyouts, but it's going to benefit us at some point. I kind of wonder if Detroit is like, give me one more year. Give me one more friggin' year.
You look at all those names. Haman's going to be gone after next year. Albert Johansson. Yeah, really got, Docker for 1 year, then he's RFA next year. Simon Edvinsson, they're going to have to sign him. But look at these names coming off. That's a lot of money coming off. Yeah.
And we're going to blow the doors off by going and getting blank.
Is there one more year available for Steve Yzerman? That building has...
Yes, I think there is. I think Yzerman has a very long leash. I think his seat is getting hot, maybe a little warm, but it's nowhere near. I don't think he's close to getting fired. And I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. But we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this develops.
Never seen a playoff game. The Puckpedia is the correct one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was about to say correct myself to Cap Friendly.
No, you're correct.
They got JVR on the top line left wing. I think it'll end up being DeBrincat, but like it's not a great roster. And I think Adam rightly pointed out there's not a lot.
Look at all that money going to Cop. Jesus Christ. Comfort too. You have almost $11 million tied up in those two guys. And Matt Rasmussen. Ugh.
Room there in the Atlantic, and he's gonna miss the playoffs again, I assume, with this team. And how many kicks at the can do you get?
That's a rough defense, man.
One of the teams of all time.
You're telling me you couldn't find...
There's not enough depth. I've said this before. There's not enough depth. You shouldn't have a Ben Sherratt, Moritz Seider pairing. That makes no sense, but that's what they have to do because the defensive depth is so bad. And that's an indictment on Yzerman.
One other guy other than Travis Hamonic?
What a list of names.
Can we, for the people listening, The Detroit Red Wings are going into the season or going into training camp with JVR, Larkin, Raymond. DeBrincat, Casper.
What year is it?
Casper is going to be real good one day.
Casper is going to be very good.
And Evander Kane. Cop. Cop. For what did I say?
Evander.
Oh, Patrick Kane. Sorry. Cop for Appleton.
One of the lines of all time.
Soderblom, Rasmussen, and Berggren.
I'm begging for a good Soderblom to make the NHL.
Soderblom, the jury's still kind of out on him. He's a big guy. He knows how to use his size. He's not really like a fighter or a tough guy, but he's got decent hands. But I'm waiting for him to blossom into something. I'm still holding out hope he can be. He's 24, he's not that young anymore, but I'm just kind of waiting for him to really take that next step. I don't know if he's gonna, but he's an interesting player to watch.
On defense. That was mean. That was unnecessary.
Except against the Leafs.
That was really unnecessary.
Such a niche shot.
On defense, Detroit is rolling up with Sherratt, Seider, Edvinsson, Johansson, Gustafsson, and Hamonic. And in net, they have Gibson and Talbot.
Hold on. You didn't mention...
Yeah, but Hamonic, is Hamonic going to roll? Is he going to be the bottom pairing defenseman? Or is it going to be Justin Holl? God, it's just kind of like, I heard it was going to be Bernard Docker. None of these are good options. That's bad. They're not wrong about that. That's bad.
Justin Holl or Jacob Bernard Docker.
In the press box, they got Hall and Bernard Docker and Watson.
Is that Austin Watson?
That is a team of all time, as Steve said.
Dude,
Hamonic Gustafsson is a D pair you roll out when you're loading up for the Calder Cup playoffs. No, like if you saw that coming down the tunnel, game 1 of the Calder Cup playoffs, you'd be like, oh shit, we might be in trouble.
Gustafsson's going to get 5 points tonight.
You're being
No, they're one of the teams of all time. Simply one of the teams.
I do look at the roster and I point to a lot of young talent sprinkled throughout it. Edvinsson, Raymond, Casper is a good little trio of young talent, plus the middle-aged guys who are going to be at their best, like Larkin. It's okay, and I left out Mo Seider as well.
It's an incredible league, and you're not good enough.
And I just want to throw this at you. Steve was talking about, what if they're a big player next year? Fucking everyone's going to be a big player next year.
Yeah, but they're going to be even bigger than that.
Yeah, and you know what's great? They can sell the guys on. We have no one else. That's a great sales pitch to a free agent. Hey, Kirill, you want to come here and do everything like you had to do during the cap-strapped years in Minnesota? Hey, Connor, what do we rewind to 2019, 2020 Edmonton Oilers hockey for you? You can have that right here in Detroit.
Do you want me to make it all hot and bothered for you?
Give it to me.
They could go out, let's pretend it was July 1st right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's game plan this.
They could go out and make a decent run at Jack Eichel now, today, with what they have.
Jack Eichel and Dylan Larkin are buddies too.
And they're going to get room
Even though Jack Eichel does have a Frankenstein neck.
Fix that decor. They're going to have to spend money to do it, and that's terrifying. They're going to have $10 million of cap space just freed up from losing. You're also going to lose 3 not good players. Like losing Justin Holl and the cap hit, hooray. Ben Sherratt, at this point in his career, what are we doing?
Well, he was signed to make the playoffs that they never did.
And I think he might have been. How does Sherratt keep finding teams that are on the cusp, on the bubble of making the playoffs that will kick ass if they make it but don't? That was the Habs for so long.
Yeah. Yep.
And we accurately were like, they're not very good. But if they make it, they're going to be a problem. And then they did, and they were a problem.
One of my biggest problems with Stevie Y and the way he's been rebuilding the Red Wings is they haven't bottomed out since he's been there. They've all...
What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, they have bottomed out. Do you not remember the 2019-2020 season? They won 17 games. What's this guy talking? They have bottomed out. That was Yzerman's first season. They bottomed out, and then he started rebuilding from the scorched earth, from the salted earth where nothing would ever grow again. Steve Yzerman had to build a foundation without a top 3 draft pick, without a top overall draft pick. I mean, come on, dude. Come on. We got to be fair here. We got to be fair. This is nonsense.
Always kind of been in that little area where they're trying to compete and go for it. And they've also gotten no draft lottery luck, but this is a team who, throughout his entire era, hasn't drafted in the top 5. They actually haven't drafted within the top 5 since 1990. That just shows how good they've been through that era.
Yeah, they drafted Lucas Raymond number 4 in 2020. We fell. We were the worst team in the league that year. We fell down a couple spots. That's how fucked the lottery has been for this team. And I absolutely adore Lucas Raymond. Alexis Lafreniere, fuck that guy. You know, would I prefer Stutzla over Raymond? I don't even think so. I think Raymond was probably the number 1 guy in that draft that year. But yeah, look at what he's done. You get guys like Moritz Seider, 6th overall. You get guys like Lucas Raymond, 4th overall. You get guys like Simon Edmondson. You get guys like Marco Kasper. You get guys like Axel Sandin Pelika. You guys like Nate Danielson. Yzerman has drafted well outside the top 5. He's done the best with what he's gotten. And do they all hit? No, he made some weird drafting decisions. I think he drafted Chris Draper's kid. Cross Hannes didn't work out. There's a bunch of guys here and there that really, I haven't really been much of anything, but we still got guys like Carter Mazur. The thing is, with Yzerman's draft picks, I mean, is Simone Edmondson a top pairing defenseman? We'll find out. Is Marco Kasper really a solid number 2 center? I like to think he is. Is Axel Sandin Pelika going to be a top defenseman? I think the kid's got the goods. He's got the goods. Maybe he's not as flashy as Moritz Seider, but still, Yzerman has had success drafting outside the top 5. These guys got to give him some props. I'll give Yzerman props on that. I criticize him for a lot, but I'll give him props on that.
It's amazing.
But in order to get these high-end star players, you have to either really hit on somebody like they did with Mo Seider, but that's still like a step below the superstar level talent.
And
Raymond, but it's just a step below again. You either have to be really bad, get draft lottery luck, or hit on a crazy pick, and they haven't done any of those 3 things.
The annoying thing is I think they've done well with what they've gotten. Like, I was just looking at Kasper, too. He was an 8th overall pick. Like, all those, they've done well.
But they
haven't gotten Bedard or like
right. They
Jack
haven't got.
Hughes
They
or something.
don't have a Draisaitl. They don't have Hughes. They don't.
Yeah, they drafted They drafted. It was, what was that dickhead's name? That huge bust, Philip Zadina. I think we took him a spot before Jack Hughes. That was Ken Holland's last draft. His final FU to Wings fans. His final, kids aren't the answer. You expect Cups, you're in the wrong league. Has anybody left? Has anybody just like, this guy's torched his legacy, man. But I don't want. I could ramble about Ken Holland for hours and hours. But yeah, these guys bring up some valid points. Yzerman has not. I mean, you get some nice middle 6, bottom 6 guys. You get some nice guys to round out the rotation, but you do not have a superstar guy. And I know guys like Austin Matthews aren't growing on trees, but can you hit on somebody? I remember, what was his name for the Dallas Stars? Nate Robinson. What was his name? Robertson, I want to say. I can't remember his first name off the top of my head. Nathan, maybe? I don't remember. But he's a 100-point scorer for the Dallas Stars. And he was taken like 29th overall in 2017. We drafted Rasmussen in the top 10 that year. I mean, but like this guy said, you got to have some crazy luck like that, finding a guy outside, like at the very bottom, like almost outside the top 30, at the bottom, like outside the top 25, find a guy like that that's that good, that dynamic. Or Yzerman, who drafted Nikita Kucherov, and like I think that was the 4th round or something like that. That guy is an incredible player. But Yzerman has not brought that Tampa Bay luck, that Tampa Bay swagger with him to Detroit, really. He's a good talent evaluator. He's done well. But he hasn't brought guys like Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov here. And that is an indictment.
Don't have any of that. Plus, the pieces that he's been filling around the young guys, where he does have a collection of good young guys, haven't clicked together and haven't been the greatest thing. And it's just kind of always fighting for that, 10th seed?
They are the
in the
06
East?
to 2015 Leafs. We are not going to draft well, and we're going to try to build through mid-free agency. And so when you look at where they are now, yeah, there's some great pieces. Guys, I can find great pieces literally anywhere.
Hey, no,
Every team has great pieces.
We're not the mid-2000s Leafs. We had really good runs in the spring and almost made it. I gotcha. That's what
Yeah,
the
and
Leafs did every year.
Jesse, what do you always say about people that go on a run post deadline?
Oh my God, it's irrelevant. Those teams are irrelevant.
Yeah.
Also, it's not top 5, it's top 3.
Top 3.
Because Lucas Raymond was a 4th overall.
And Zadina was 5.
Yes, so top 3 is what I was going for.
Swing and a miss on that. It happens.
No,
but
Zadina was 6.
Oh, was he, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It was close. The point is,
I mean, you're not going to hit all of them.
the Red Wings are here. Okay, I'll tell you what I heard, and I can't corroborate this, but what I heard was Stevie wanted to tear this down more than he did. He wanted to put this in a position where you could grab those top 3 draft picks and that sort of thing. But after who was the guy that took over after Babs? Who was the guy that took over?
Blashill.
Blashill?
Blashill. After the Blashill years, the ownership group was like, hey, we just spent a lot of money on this sick arena, and we'd like to see some playoff games. And so inexplicably, a couple of years ago, we started to see them make like really bizarre signings. And I think the comp for Justin Hollier had a lot of people going, okay, why?
2 guys still on the team.
100%. And I think that it kind of tracks with what I said, which was, hey, they had found Sider, they had found Lucas Raymond. If they'd gone and done that a couple more years, they probably would have a far more complete team today.
Yeah.
But the management group above Stevie said, no, we need a playoff game in this building, and we really don't care beyond, like, just get there. Just get into the playoffs.
That was the mindset of late Ken Holland, sacrificing draft capital to bring rentals here. Kalle Yarncroc, a serviceable, like, middle pairing center, got traded away for like 2 months of mid-ass David Legwand. And that's just one I can think of. That's the first one that jumps to my mind. That was a bad deal. But they would do this. They would get the guys. They would bring in the Eric Coles. They would bring in other past their prime stars and stuff. They would bring in these guys, you know, just these, or they'd bring in these shitty deadline acquisitions. It was such a mess. They'd bring in some guy here who didn't do shit, and then, you know, they would lose in the first round, and we would just repeat this process over and over and over again. And yeah, it looks like Yzerman's doing the same thing. Because is the management interfering? I don't know. We'll see. I just, it's irritating to see the same kind of mistakes the last GM made being made by this GM.
You could see the rationale. Like, you look at the Washington Capitals, not last year, but the year before. They snuck in. They got their asses kicked by the Rangers, but they got 2 home playoffs.
It was an electric year.
It was an electric year.
Yeah.
And they did it, and they shouldn't have. Like, Philly should have made it. Pittsburgh should have made it. Washington made it. I don't think the Detroit teams of those years were all that different than the Philly or the Pittsburgh or the Washington team, right? They weren't that different. The difference was Pittsburgh had, at the end of Gino and Crosby and Letang, and that end is still happening. The Capitals still have Alexander Ovechkin, and the Detroit Red Wings have not guys that are Hall of Famers in that sense. And I just feel like that's what's the missing piece here.
Would it kill him to make a trade that matters?
With what?
Dude, figure it out. For God's sake. Everyone figures it out. Everyone relevant.
Yep.
Figures it, like, I'm just looking at the list. Okay, Gibson, I like for them. Starting goalies are not available in abundance. Ville Husso for future considerations. Okay, that got you cap space that you didn't use. Great. Joe Veleno for Peter Mrazek and Craig Smith. Okay, great. You helped Tampa get... No, what the hell is this? Part of a 3-way trade. So you helped Tampa get Yanni Gourde, and you got a 4th out of it. A conditional 4th. Look at you go. You got a 3rd for Oli Mata. Fine. You got Gage Alexander for Robbie Fabry and a 4th. So you paid for Gage Alexander. Hope he works out. Like, I'm just looking at these deals. The Wallman deal, for fuck's sake. Wallman and a 2nd, which again freed up space that you didn't use. He keeps...
Who's that guy we traded to Vancouver? He had that really good year here. He was having a really good year. We traded him we got to free up like cap space. And he had like a monster year in Vancouver. Who the hell? Let me look it up. Hang on one second. Red Wings, Canucks trade. Philip Hronek. It was Philip Hronek right here. March 2033, when Detroit sent defenseman Philip Hronek to Vancouver for 2023. First round pick from the Islanders. a 2023 second-round pick, and a conditional fourth-round pick. The Axels used the first-round pick to draft defenseman Axel Sandin Pellikka. Yep. And Hronek's like backing up Quinn Hughes. Kind of a win-win. So we got ASP because of it. But, but there's a lot of shit, that we could have gotten. A lot of these, he's going down the list. Yzerman, the Fabry deal, the Wallman deal. It ain't good, man. It ain't good.
He is one of the GMs of all time, of one of the teams of all time, making some of the trades of all time.
Take a swing, man.
Bless Stevie Y. Bless him. But without that name, he's long gone.
Yeah.
Long gone. If
his name is Shirelli or Ferguson Jr. or
here's what you need. The young guys led by Casper need to play out of their banana sandwich minds. John Gibson needs to look bona fide. Completely ridiculous. Have a clean bill of health.
Everything has to go right. Steve was making a good point here. Everything has to go right. I'd say the free agent signings, the trades have been bad for Yzerman. The free agency signings have been bad. The draft has been good. Excuse me, but yeah, there's still some big indictments on Yzerman on the way he's put this roster together and whatnot, and the way everything has to click into place. It's like I said this about other teams before, but everything has to go perfectly well for the Red Wings, and people have to play up to expectations. And you got to just hope to God everyone can stay healthy, and the pieces fit together. And that the bad pieces don't drag the good pieces down too much. It's too much. Too much has to go right. And it just won't. It seemed like it was going right for short stints the last couple of years. We'd get out, have a good run after the trade deadline, and then falter. Last 2 years, we had like brutal Februarys, brutal Marches, and we fall out of playoff spots. But it's just because you see what this team can be. You see flashes of what this team can be when they go on a little bit of a run, and the vibes are good, and we're feeling good, and we're playing Don't Stop Believing by Journey, and everyone's fired up in the arena. But when this team is bad, they cannot sustain it. They are not built to sustain any success, and that is Yzerman's fault.
There needs to be faith at the end of the season, no matter how it shakes out, that this is heading in the right direction.
No.
And then if you can say, listen, this season, no matter how it ends, was encouraging, then you go look at the ocean of cap space. Look, we have over $20 million.
Steve, if you're ending this season and you're like again selling me on faith, screw that.
No, I agree with you, but like I'm trying to listen.
That means you missed the playoffs and you're trying to sell me magic beans.
I've laid out
like what?
I think this team is just so mid.
Mm-hmm.
I've laid that out. I'm trying to be nice, and I go, here's what success looks like this year.
No, success is winning.
Oh dear.
I have to say, I look at Dylan Larkin. We talk about this with teams that we like to needle, right? We do it with it's not even like we like to needle. It's just they're so viciously against the truth at certain times, and then the truth comes out, and they're like, "Well, it's time to accept the inevitable."
Larkin's a guy who frustrates you sometimes because some days it looks like he hasn't turned his brain on. When he's with it, now he's a guy who scored 70 points on some absolute dog shit Red Wings teams, and he is a good leader on this team. He earned that captaincy, but he is not a game-changing guy. He is not a difference maker. For what he is, he's a very good player. I think he's only been in the playoffs once, and that was when they lost in 2016. I believe it was the Tampa Bay Lightning that finished us off that year. Steve Yzerman's Tampa Bay Lightning, ironically enough. But yeah, he's just one of those guys. He gives his heart and soul to the team. He's had brutal injuries. He's had personal tragedy. I remember that press conference he did after Tyler Bertuzzi got traded. The poor guy was on the verge of tears. He's given everything to this team, and that I do respect. But he's just not the kind of player that can really take you anywhere. And I hate saying that because I do really like Dylan Larkin. I think he's a class act and a credit to the league and a great ambassador for the team. But he's just not that guy, if that makes sense to you. Am I being too harsh? Let me know in the comments.
A la what's happened in Pittsburgh this week.
Mhm.
We've been on that shit for 18 months. Like, hey, if they don't get better, this is eventually going to happen. Like, no, you don't know what you're fucking talking about, girl. And then all of a sudden, what happens?
I wish I could move my neck like that.
And so I look at Dylan Larkin.
Has Steve lost weight? He looks skinny here. Good for Steve. Maybe he's on Ozempic.
And I go, how much longer is Dylan going to stick around for this? Because maybe he is.
That's one thing about Dylan. He's stuck around through the thick and the thin. But he's got to be getting tired. That's a good point. That's a good point. You don't really consider that. You take a guy like Dylan Larkin for granted. We take him for granted. But, I mean, he's got to be frustrated right now. He's getting close to 30. He's been nowhere near a Stanley Cup. He's gone through so much with this team, and they're still just letting him down. Yzerman is letting him down. And it's really a shame, because Larkin's a nice player. Not a game changer, but a nice player. I'm getting a little serious here, but it's fucked up. It's fucked up. It's fucked up what we're doing to Dylan Larkin.
Right to his bones, man.
For as long as he's locked up, which is a long time.
But if Dylan Larkin became available, holy shit.
I don't think
But
they
she's
do that.
not.
That's not
I'm
going to
just-
happen, though. That's not going to happen.
No, what if Dylan Larkin goes, I'm done, man. I'm done. Because why wouldn't Dylan Larkin say that?
You've fired Stevie Y and you get a GM who's gonna be like, Dylan, here's our road to success.
Dylan Larkin, how many playoff games has Dylan Larkin played? He's played 734 career NHL games.
0, right?
Did he play under Babcock? I'm gonna say 6.
5.
5.
That one series, yeah.
He's got 1 point in the playoffs, a goal. And it was his rookie year.
Maroon. He's so good.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. He's amazing. Look at what he did with Team USA.
Oh, I know. Really underrated player.
Dylan Larkin's got 5 years left on a very lucrative contract. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
What if he says, I'm sort of done here?
So
I don't
there's been no indication.
Yeah.
There's been no indication.
Yeah, they said that
Now
in
you're
Pittsburgh, too.
needling.
Am I needling? They said that in Pittsburgh too. Well, there's been no indication. There's still no indication.
No, but
Crosby wants to
Crosby-
go.
no.
But Crosby's going, they better
Crosby's
get better.
contract is coming to an end.
And he's
Like and he's
Well,
old.
You know,
and
what
It's
the-
kind of crazy. I remember Crosby and Ovechkin coming into the league. I was in high school. I was those guys' age. I'm Sidney Crosby's age. I think Alex Ovechkin is like a year older than me. I think Sidney Crosby's like a year younger. But those guys are like my age, and they're still hanging in there. But they're getting so close to the end. They're not really showing it, but it's kind of crazy to think how these two guys, these two pillars of the league, who like define 2010s hockey, are getting so up there. They have you got Alex Ovechkin. He's like all gray now. It's crazy to think about it, but man, it's wild. I know it's not. I'm getting off track here, but still, just thinking about that makes me feel old.
last time that happened, he re-signed.
I don't feel like we usually see star NHLers do that middle contract. I assume there's some exceptions to the rule, but somebody with 5 years left who's been very happy in Detroit, like this has never been a thing. I don't think it's fair to just say like he's going because
Crosby's
they think.
one of the few players in the league, one of the very few remaining who's older than me.
Dylan Larkin's 29. Just wondering. 134 games.
Just
Yeah, I think if we're getting to 2 years left in that deal or something, or 1 year left and that sort of stuff, like, and they're still not successful. They might want to move him just for like roster management purposes or whatever, but I don't think Dylan Larkin's not unhappy in Detroit.
No, this conversation bothers me because there's some teams that just shouldn't. You ever get to the gooey middle part of your psyche, the Kinder Surprise cream of your brain?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay,
What do you-
I was about to. 1 second.
Yeah.
You asked a question.
The Leafs in the mid 90s
I didn't like your answer.
were hot ass.
Uh-huh.
And Chris Draper had just visited my elementary school,
Mm-hmm.
and the Red Wings went to back-to-back cups, and I loved the Red Wings.
Mhm.
For like a couple years there. I loved the Red Wings. And there's there's still a part of me that sees them being bad, even though they're in the Leafs division. There's still part of me that sees them being bad, and I'm like, that's bullshit.
Right.
Figure it out.
Yeah. They're an original 16. Well, the reason the Red Wings are bad right now is because they had 30 years of sustained success. Like, it's why I don't feel bad for you Pittsburgh fans so much. You had 20 years of success. You now have to go through this because that's what happens in pro sports. You don't get 100 years of consistent success. You are very good for a long time, and then it's like, oh, all the old guys are still here and we ran out of new guys. We got to just suck for a little bit.
The Penguins exist in a reality of extremes. They've never just been the Penguins.
Yeah.
Like, they're always, okay, we're either the worst team in the history of the sport.
And they're threatening to move it to Hamilton.
Yes, or we have one of the best, if not the best players in the world.
Yeah. So, like, I like Detroit, you had so much success in the 90s and early 2000s that you got to be bad for a little. Yeah. But the bad, we got to see you're moving the right direction.
It's directionless bad.
Exactly. And that is bad.
Yeah, that
you can't be directionless
I'll
bad.
just say this about the Penguins. I got nothing but respect for the Penguins as an organization. Going from Mario Lemieux to Sidney Crosby, that is so fucking unfair. That is unbelievably unfair. It's ridiculous.
At least be the Blackhawks where you stink and you're going to stink real stinky. And, like, their rebuild is very new. I'm going to keep banging that drum. I'm going to do it again this year. Their rebuild is very new. We are only 3 years away from Taves. And
okay, we get it. That's, geez. You know, that's how dark it was getting in here. Sorry if I was in shadow. But, yeah, that's Steve Dangle's take on this. There's a few more videos talking about the Red Wings and their progress so far towards the Stanley Cup. Steve Yzerman's job as the GM for the last 7-8 years now. What has it been? 2019. So it'll be 6 years. This is his 7th year. But yeah. But let me know your thoughts down below. What did you guys think of this kind of stuff? Let me know down below how you feel about it. Do you think Yzerman is getting unfairly maligned? Or do you like the job he's doing? How do you feel about Dylan Larkin? How do you feel about the draft picks? How do you feel about whatever? Any Red Wings topic you want, drop it down below. We'll discuss it. But that's all I got for you guys for right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later.
No, I thought you said I was all right, Spider. So
No, you ain't all right, Spidey. You got a lot of fucking problems.
No, I thought you said you were all right.